by IEBC Chairperson Wafula Chebukati in studio. I'm joined by Kibe Mungai, who's a lawyer, and of course we also have Professor Ori Tumbo, who is a political commentator. Here we will be taking a look at some of the probable outcomes from what happens at the Bomas of Kenya today, with the NASA principals present and President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto also making their way there. It will be something very interesting to watch. The country has been waiting with bated breath for this moment. And of course, once again, live pictures there from the Bomas of Kenya. I'll start with you, Kibe. A lot of activity at the Bomas of Kenya today. What really do you expect to see?
I think from the transmission of results from Forms 34A, I think we expect a declarations of results to the effect that President Uhuru Kenyatta has been re-elected.
But with the kind of with the kind of concerns that have been raised with NASA, does this in any way complicate the work of the IEBC?
I don't see much complication, because the way the process works is that Forms 34A from the word go were just meant to be forms that were transmitted from the polling stations to the constituency returning officers and to the headquarters of IBC at Bomas. And when that was done, the final confirmation and the declarations will be based on the 290 Forms 34B.
Yeah.
And I've not had much the controversy concerning those forms. And therefore, I expect they will quickly tally whatever figures are being shown in Forms 34B, and then declarations would be made. Then from there onwards, the law is very clear. If there is a legal dispute of whatever nature concerning the validity of this particular election, then the party who is aggrieved has a right to take the matter to the Supreme Court. Therefore, for today, I think it would be fairly a straightforward matter that declarations would be made. Then the big moment would be what would be the reaction of any person who is aggrieved.
Prof, for you, what do you expect from the Bomas of Kenya today?
Thank you, Akisa. I expect the following. One, matching 34A with 34B. And then once that is done, then IBC should be able to say, look, there has been a comprehensive match or there is a mismatch. Now, where there is a mismatch, the assessment would be, is it large enough, all right, to prevent IBC from declaring the candidate that is leading in figures as the validly elected candidate. There is also this other thing, they look at whether there is 24, he has got more than 25% in 24 counties. Things like that. They're normal standard expectations. But the key thing is, if you look at it critically, the forms in their 34A have not arrived. There's a significant number that has not arrived. All right? So it's interesting. You see, I'm used to tracking systems. All right? You track, for example, from the field, you track data into the storage area, then from the storage area into analysis. Then from analysis, then you get outcomes. Then outcomes allow you to make projections.
So for you expect the standard procedure, like what has been outlined in the Constitution as per what we expect to see?
Yes, I do not expect IBC to resort to any other procedure because they're legally constituted independent body and they have rules of engagement. What perhaps may be a challenge to them is the latter part of the election, particularly the transmission of the results from the ground all the way, because the tallying should have been available at the polling station. The tallying should have been available at the constituency. Now, what has created anxiety is not that any particular party has interfered with the process in an obvious sense. In my opinion, even NASA are making quite many remarks, but they need slightly better evidence for substantiation. So I'm treating the evidence as is projected by the figures vis-a-vis the processes. For example, if you look very carefully, it is from a purely scientific perspective, it is worrying when there is a discrepancy between field observations, what was counted and obtained, all right, and what is on the form. In other words, that should have been obtained immediately.
Okay.
So its absence suggests that there is an irregular delay in the process.
All right. Let's quickly go to the Bomas of Kenya once again. Just look at the live pictures we are getting there for a moment, even as the president is also expected to make his way. Remember, Deputy President William Ruto is already at the Bomas of Kenya, as well as Raila Odinga has also arrived. So it is a bevy of activity there at the National Tallying Center, this being presumed to be the D-Day. So let's just take a look at those pictures before we get back to the discussion.